Well, for the latest on the ground in Ukraine, we will cross now to our regional correspondent, Gulliver Cragg, who is standing by in Kyiv. Good morning, Gulliver. So as we've been covering, Russia claims to be changing its tactics, focusing now on the Donbass region. But is there the feeling in Ukraine that this is just a front to reorganize and strengthen the full-blown invasion in the long term?
Yes, that's absolutely the feeling in Ukraine. That's the assessment of the Ukrainian military leadership. And Volodymyr Zelenskiy, the president, said in his video address to the Ukrainian people last night that although we are observing some Russian units leaving the northern areas of Ukraine, particularly north of Kyiv, Volodymyr Zelenskiy says they're not leaving really as a tactical maneuver or because it's mission accomplished. They're leaving because they've been chased out, because these are units that have suffered severe losses and damages and they need to recoup and repair. And while that is in a sense a victory for the Ukrainian military and something that can help boost Ukrainians' morale and that they can be proud of, I think the feeling in Kyiv is also that they rather fear what kind of revenge and what kind of new tactics this humiliation of Vladimir Putin's army may draw from the Russian president, because the feeling is definitely very much in Ukraine that Vladimir Putin did not expect things to go this way. He thought, and perhaps had been led to believe, that his armed forces were much stronger, better equipped and better organized than they turned out to be. I think the morale factor has clearly played a huge role, with numerous stories in Ukraine of Russian soldiers having extremely low morale and not knowing why they're there. But then what happens when they don't manage to take the territory along the lines that they planned out with a land invasion? It seems to be, from what we've seen in Mariupol and Chernihiv also, to the north, 150 kilometers to the northeast of Kyiv, is that they start bombarding ever more heavily and targeting civilians ever more. And so there's a great deal of anxiety really in Ukraine all the same about what's to come, despite this apparent withdrawal of some Russian forces.
Gulliver, according to the Pentagon, Russian forces have also begun to pull out of the Chernobyl nuclear power site. What might this suggest?
Well, that's been observed on the ground. It wasn't announced by the Russians, as far as I'm aware. Actually, on the contrary, there was a report on Russian state propaganda TV yesterday saying that Russian armed forces should try to take control of the 3 other nuclear power plants in Ukraine that they have not yet taken control of. The TV was suggesting that the Ukrainians can't be trusted to act responsibly at those nuclear power plants in these conditions of war. The Ukrainians have been levelling exactly the same accusation at the Russians about their behaviour at Chernobyl and at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which they also control. The Ukrainians say they're very worried about the Russians not knowing how to behave responsibly, and there's some evidence of that, at least according to what Ukrainian officials say they have observed, because they said that they saw Russian soldiers driving through the Red Forest, which is the most radioactive area of the Chernobyl exclusion zone, without any protective equipment on. That is extremely dangerous, above all for their own health. And there have been reports in independent Belarusian media of Russian soldiers with radiation sickness being admitted to hospital in Gomel in southern Belarus.
All right, Gulliver Cragg in Kyiv, thank you very much.